We're good? Okay. Let's call the meeting to order. It's 3:03 p.m. Take roll call. Annie Passa's here.
Tracy Benson. Sorry.
Craig Schultz is here.
All right. And then is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Oh, jeez.
EV charging station usage. Is that to you, Shane?
That's me.
All right.
So, Mike asked me to put together like a month's worth of data. They've been up and running for a month as of last week. And so 33 days of charger usage. We've had 163 individual charging sessions. I checked this morning. That's actually up to 195 now.
Wow.
Total fees collected. Last week it was $838. It's now up to $955 in total fees.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and so 2,370 kilowatt hours used. Average price per kilowatt hour, 35 cents. So compare that to what our retail rate is for, or what our rate is for normal
Great.
electricity, 10 cents. So
Yeah.
we're selling it for more than we're buying it for. That's great. Yeah, the biggest piece of data between the two sites. So we got the campground and the city hall. Only 8 charging sessions have been recorded at the campground. So it's heavily weighted towards city hall.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Or a suggestion or something between there. Would we consider putting a sign out here that says, if these are full, check out our charging station down in the campground?
I think that people are finding them on the app
Oh, okay.
anyway.
All right. Okay.
So
All
someone
right.
opens the app and they
Yeah.
see that these are here next to all of the businesses.
Okay.
And they want to be here.
Right.
I imagine that if these are full, they would go to the campground if they really need to charge.
Okay.
And so,
It's a more convenient site for them.
Of course.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a really prime site. And last week, Mike and I both got an email from the government affairs person at SIMPA saying that our chargers here at City Hall are some of the most active chargers on their network.
That's
so
fantastic.
of all the member cities, he looked at them all and he was like, Grand Marais is having some great activity on our charging stations. Which
Well,
is,
this is a small anecdote, but after I got my recent electronic newsletter from the city of Grand Marais, I copy-pasted and quote, and get credited, of course, the part about the chargers and downloaded the photo, and I put them on my own Facebook page. And people were so excited. Several of my friends from the city said, I'm going to drive my electric car up there. I mean,
yeah.
really great.
We've
you
got the
know?
only fast charger on the whole North Shore.
Really?
And we've
Awesome.
got a destination that people want to be at. So they're
That's
coming
great.
up, they're charging. Yeah. The second page that I have here, this is from our ZepNet, kind of where I can look at all the charging data. It just shows that most people are charging for less than an hour a day, and that the time of use that they're using them kind of reflects like the meal times. So except not breakfast, but people are plugging in most commonly at the lunch hour, and then again they're plugging in at around dinner time too. So I imagine it's mostly people that are coming here to visit.
Yep. That's great.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So that's all I got. I can get more data. I can get different data. There's a lot that we can
I
track. So if you have any questions, you can.
Can you remind us, do we have to pay SIMPA back for these?
SIMPA gave us the chargers.
They gave it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in a previous meeting, we took ownership of them.
Right.
Took
Okay.
ownership of
Yeah.
it,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're ours.
So we don't have to pay.
And
Okay.
at the end of every month, so what happens is people pay through the app, and that
Yeah.
goes to Zeph, the company that manages and distributes chargers. At the end of every month, we settle up and get all of our fees back through a site called bill.com, and we've been working on that to make sure that. So this will be the first month that we've settled up at the end. So we'll get our fees.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know there's also, I'd be curious, not that it has to do with the city, but I know there's a couple chargers up the trail And I'd be curious to know how they're going.
Yeah.
You know, that might be fun to find out at some point.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how
Yeah.
the usage compares to those in
Mhm.
Lutsen or up the trail. But
Do we know, like, the resort or Bearskin, do they charge their customers? Is that a service for their customers? I've seen Lutzen's.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
I
but
suppose that's the only way you, is that the only way you track, or is that a separate app that's tracking usage, or is that through the fact that they're paying? Is that the same?
we can't see, like, someone paying through the app can't see this kind of usage. This is kind of our utility side.
Right, I
Oh.
just meant, is that what allows you to see the usage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
'cause
can only
other-
see our
Every
devices.
time it's used.
Right, okay, so I just went, then maybe like Lutsen or Bearskin doesn't have that data if they aren't charging?
Perhaps.
Yeah, that's all I meant.
Got it.
Yeah, okay.
I just think one more thing that I haven't pointed out is almost all the fees are coming from the fast charger.
Oh, yeah, I saw that in your notes.
It's like it's a significant amount. It's like more than 2/3 of the fees are coming from the fast charger because there's that $5 connection fee, and then it's charging by the minute, 30 cents a minute. The level 2s are just doing $2 an hour. So I can look at each individual charging session, and those people plugging in for a couple hours, I mean, 3 hours is $6. So that's a pretty low fee. But someone plugging in for an hour on the fast charger is racking up $25.
But it's a time thing, of course.
Yeah.
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 Mhm. Yeah.
Great.
Makes
So-
sense.
Well, this is exciting. It'll be fun to see how it goes the rest of the summer and fall. And
Yeah.
thank you, Shane. Any other questions?
One, and maybe you gave this, maybe that was probably part of the initial information, but what is the cost of one of those should there be an interest in gaining more of them? Do we know?
So I think a fast charger, the like one we have is, and this is I think just off the top of my head, like $30,000.
Okay.
And a level 2 charger, like one we have that can do 2 cars at once,
Mhm.
is 8,000, or maybe it was 5,000. So, or maybe it was 10,000.
Yeah,
I'll find
I'm just
that
kinda
again.
curious,
We
like-
didn't pay for it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you gotta bring utilities to that charger.
Right.
Yeah, see,
And
all
that's
the
pricey.
cost. I didn't know for
Underground.
sure.
Yeah.
Like, when is it worth the time, or not time, but the.
And I
cost.
recently asked
Right.
at Simpa, they could do some kind of buy as well. And so if we wanted more, I'm not saying we should get more now because we
Right,
just got
right,
these.
just-
Say a business wanted some.
Mhm.
That could be something maybe we could help them out and manage their chargers. It's a lot to manage them, that's for sure, and to collect the fees and everything.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Huh,
But-
okay, lots to think about in the future.
yeah, there's options for down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Next, upcoming projects.
Yeah, Mike asked me to
Coming
come.
back? Okay.
Yep. Last week, the council had a work session about capital improvement planning, and they, at the end of the session, a couple that were picked pretty high on the list that will, involve the PUC, a lot of public utility work. The first one they talked about, or one of them, it's a Fifth Avenue West, the old Gunflint Trail. The county would be a partner in that because they're going to rebuild their road. It's slated for 2013. So right now, we have to start the planning process to get all that kind of stuff done on our end of it. There's been some things that have already been planned, some data collection. We're doing, let's say, a sewer inspection and televising so the engineers can get all the current data that we need for our end of the work. So I'm sure he'll come back. I don't know if they're going to get a proposal for the engineer or just use the same one that the county's using to design the road, so there's one person doing them all together.
Would that be sewer and water?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, in our cost, or the city's cost would be for the sewer and water part of it. The streets, the road, the curb and gutter, any storm sewer would be county. Your county's paying for, so.
Sidewalks too.
Yep, sidewalks probably on both sides.
Well, that's what I heard, so and then they're taking quite a bit of width, because I was told all those trees are gonna get cut down.
No.
That's a county, I mean, if, like our responsibility is the water and sewer lines in the ground. Everything else is gonna be county, so if anybody wants to be involved in the planning or what that road's gonna look like, has to go to the county
Yep.
meetings to discuss that.
Sure. Okay.
Well, a homeowner came to me and talked to me about it, so I just pointed him towards the county. I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
I remember a few years ago, we had a meeting up there talking about it with a different engineer. You know, I think it was 2 engineers ago, and she had actually a public meeting talking about it, so, and she went through a bunch of it then, so, and some preliminary stuff, so.
So is this the kind of thing they'll have a public hearing about,
I
do you think?
would think they're gonna have some kind of get input, I'm not sure, unless they've already did their input period before, when the other people were here, and they're just going forward, I'm not sure.
This is 2013.
20,
Yeah, yeah, when they first started,
No, but when is this?
2023,
2023.
2 years.
When did they start talking? 2013.
That's why the planning needs to start now.
For us,
Yeah.
It takes
And we're responsible for sewer,
in the water.
water,
Yeah.
and
No, that'd be it.
not storm sewer?
Nope.
No, okay.
It'd be their road. It's their storm if
What
they
side of
want.
the road are we going down on that thing? Are we on the, we're on
Is that where we go and then we have the 2 lines then when we
There's,
do it?
yeah, actually, those lines that go up there, there's one that comes down from the upper reservoir that feeds partway down and branches off, and then there's one that goes all the way up from the water plant.
Mm-hmm.
It is the main feeder between the water production and that center
remember
reservoir.
Okay.
We have a couple loops that tie in, but they tie in just above the courthouse, so anything above there's only one line that feeds up that hill.
Okay.
So if that breaks, you know, it would be, I mean, have to shut down the city until you get it fixed, you know, I mean,
it's
there's,
fixed.
so.
So, and aside from that, for the city, even though I realize this is a county road, what is the current rule about sidewalks? Is this like in the cities where each individual homeowner is responsible for shoveling their sidewalk? Do we have
We don't have an ordinance for
of
that.
that? We don't
No,
have
that's-
any?
That is how it works.
There is an ordinance on that.
Yeah, property owners are required to, or responsible for their sidewalks.
Well, yeah.
but is there an exception for organizations like churches or something?
No.
No,
So,
It's enforcement.
does that end up then, so that sidewalk then, who does that fall to then? Is that the county? I mean, I don't mean to ask you, but
Well, there's never been a sidewalk
that's why I'm
Right.
kind
That.
of, I,
section.
There's been partials.
And now there's gonna be sidewalk on both sides, and when you get to the top of the first block, there's no sidewalk on the east side, but there is on the west side. So I
Sure.
don't know, are they
Yeah.
gonna continue that all the way up on the east side
I,
to the courthouse? I don't know.
no,
I
that's
haven't seen the
something.
plan.
No.
and then who is, so then are we, I don't know.
Well, there's there'd be city sidewalks.
Well, is it city or
But
is
the
it
county clears the sidewalk on the north side of the road on County Road 7,
Mm-hmm,
all the way from,
yeah.
actually the school all the way out to Highway 61
Mm-hmm.
and pass by the hospital and up to the fire hall. The county clears that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't clear that sidewalk.
Okay.
So
I'll be
I don't, I
curious
mean,
to
that's
know
just, I
then.
know that's what they do now.
Right.
What's gonna happen coming down Fifth would be,
Well,
I'm not
we'll
a
have
big
to
sidewalk person.
discuss that
I would
later.
really like to see us advocate for not cutting down trees to make sidewalks there. I think that's
Depends how wide they, I don't know.
yeah.
Well,
an
okay.
unfortunate
so,
idea.
May
So that
not-
means going to other meetings.
We may not have a choice, but I think it should be, in
Maybe,
the
it
planning
would-
stage, it should be looked at.
Yeah.
as Try to avoid that if possible.
maybe the county engineer should be invited to talk to the council or the PUC about some of this
No, that's a
upcoming
good
project,
idea.
just to get, you know, what is going on,
What's it gonna
so
look like?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Could we do that?
ask communications.
I'll try.
That'd be great. No, that'd be great, Patrick. I think that would be really helpful for us to get up to speed and understand what's
Mm-hmm.
being discussed. Okay, thank you. Okay, Tom, what
Alright.
else?
Another
The maps.
big project that will involve the city and PUC is just a city PUC project. It's the rehabilitation of the whole infrastructure from roads from on First Street from 3rd Avenue West to 11th Avenue West, which would be from, let's say, the library all the way out into the gravel roads, like where it turns and dead ends. And goes up those 2 gravel streets. So that would be, I think, preliminary, they were trying to go for 20 to 24 to do that project, because those would be 2 big costly projects back to back that they're going to have to figure out how to handle.
Are you talking about replacing water and sewer or actually paving the streets?
Everything. The city will be responsible for, the city's going to do everything. Streets, curb and gutter.
Did you say 3rd Street?
No, First Street, from
First
3rd
Street.
Avenue West to 11th Avenue West.
Oh, 1st Street, way down
Yeah.
low.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's low.
got it.
So from the street Voyager Brewing is on
Above it, the one that
Above
goes
it.
right above it,
Right.
yes.
Love it, yeah.
All the way out,
to 11.
yeah, to where it turns and kind of, you have to turn right on the gravel roads to go up to 2nd.
Okay.
Across Eighth.
Now, that's been slated for quite a few years by the street department, that their roads are bad in the water and sewer. Some of the water lines are 4-inch, they're substandard, they're pretty old. And the sewer lines are all clay tile that have had issues in the past then,
Okay.
so.
And you say that would be for 2024?
Tentatively, that's the target date, yes. No, I don't know how potential financing would be for that, you know, that'd be
Right.
Mike's, you know, could talk about that. Some might be assessed to the homeowners, some would just be trying to bond and stuff like that, so different
Yeah.
aspects.
Why did I think that we changed the way we assessed stuff like that from away from assessing the homeowner in front
So-
of who's,
Certain parts, I think, have been changed, and some aren't, you know, because I think the theory is if you're gonna get beneficial aspect out of that utility for your property, you need to pay something. If it was all new construction and you didn't have any water and sewer in front of your street, you pay the assessment. I know when we did the projects, like those bunch of blocks we did last time in town that went up into the Creechville area, a lot of those people were under an economic hardship, you know, status, so they didn't have to pay, I don't know if it was the assessment or if they didn't have to pay some of their hookup fees or whatever, but they were forgiven some of those issues, I think, pretty sure, but you can ask Mike more about the
Okay.
financing.
well, that actually brings up something I wanted to ask about, which has kind of been on my mind, which is, does the city, or could we consider making some kind of allowance for some of, like, the affordable housing projects that are being thought about? Could we assist by not assessing as much on, you know, that new sewer and water hookup stuff?
You know, I know when they did the last group, they did not, because they had the money to pay for it, and it is just part of the fee structure, because it's got to be spread out somehow, you know, to fund the water and the
Right.
wastewater plants, so.
Well, I think it'd be worth either talking about, just so that we all are on the same page and understand how that works and how it's set up.
I did get an email from like our local, or the wastewater resource group called Minnesota Rural Water Association, and they're having a webinar coming up, and I don't know if anybody be interested, but there's supposed to be like $1 billion out there for helping people pay for their water bills, you know, that are having economic stress. And that's
Okay.
one of you guys want to listen to it and figure out how to do it.
That's interesting.
I saw that smile on Patrick's face. Yeah. It's like, yeah, in on that one.
So
Okay.
that's it for those parts of the projects that I know were Mike wanted us to talk about, so I'll give you a heads up
Okay.
on, so.
And then this map?
That's a street map, the last one. It's
Mhm.
street condition that the street supervisor, Leonard Bloomquist, drew up. And they color coded it where, like you see, real quick here, this is the first street line, this big red one, and those blue ones, which is like unpaved, that's the first street project. Where the other two pages in front of it kind of had the same kind of design, but it had the water and sewer, you know, pipes graded for conditions.
Mhm. Okay. Actually, that gives me another question, which is, when you're talking about unpaved roads, you're not including the alleys.
Correct.
Okay,
I don't think he's including alleys. I doubt it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Though I'm assuming, like, it looks like an alley, but the street that starts at the Congregational Church and goes down as a street, but it looks like an alley. I don't know if it's on the list, but that'd be the kind of thing where
Mm-hmm.
you might mistake it
Right?
for an
It's the
alley.
street in front of the Congregational Church,
It goes like,
north and south?
yeah, the north and south runs, so back by the parking lot, and then it goes down.
Oh, the one that's kind of dead ends over the gravel.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
they're trying to
sorry, it's
vacate that or
actually
something.
over a little
Real
bit more,
rocky
sorry.
there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more, but,
That'd be Fourth, between Second and First.
mm-hmm, yeah.
They kind of even got that burned. That's not a travel. It's a road, but the bottom part of it's all rock, and
It's pretty tough, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't.
I'm
do
sure they have
anything.
no plans ever to connect that through.
It'll basically dead
Oh.
end at the last house.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's not one of those they intend to,
no.
okay.
Utilities go through there?
Yes.
Okay. Must have-
Not the water line doesn't come all the way through, but the sewer line does.
Hmm.
The water line comes down and stubs off a Second
Okay.
and feeds those upper ones.
I am kind of curious to see what they do with Fifth. I have this real aversion to seeing any more street narrowing going on.
I know I'm one of the few, but I'm a proponent of it. And my reason is,
Street
Slows
narrowing?
people down.
Yes.
no,
No, I
because
know.
the water and sewer lines are under the grass more instead of the streets. They're more protected, their longevity is longer, and repair is easier and cheaper. So it's a selfish reason.
Oh, that's an
That's
interesting
okay,
point,
they're
though.
all valid
No, that's an
ones.
interesting point.
Mm-hmm. I just,
And I lived in Duluth for a few years, and they were all like that.
but then you should appreciate having wide streets on
Oh.
a hill.
I'm not saying they're not nice, I'm just saying as far as
Right.
longevity of your infrastructure in the ground that nobody seems to see is
Right.
enhanced.
That's so true. It's just like houses, right?
Mhm.
No one looks at the underneath stuff that really
Right.
matters.
Exactly. Okay, anything else on that, Tom?
Nope, I think we're good.
Any questions?
Mm-mm. That was interesting, thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else? No?